Joining us right now is Kash Patel, who can effectively debunk the latest last-ditch story against Trump. Now, Kash, welcome to the program. Kash is also joining us tomorrow for our rally in Las Vegas. I encourage you guys to check that out as well at tpaction.com. So before I go to Kash, before I throw this to you, I want people to understand, expect desperation out of the Democrats right now. Expect AI-doctored footage of Donald Trump allegedly 20 years ago. Fake stories. They are throwing everything they can as Donald Trump's early voting numbers are great, as his odds in the betting markets are ascendant, which, again, is not necessarily my favorite metric, but it definitely gets people worried. Kash, they're going to throw these fake stories. So here, there's a lot here. There was an Atlantic article yesterday, which I just kind of rolled my eyes at. Kash, what was in the Atlantic article? Tell us the truth. Please take your time. We have plenty of time in this segment.
Thanks so much, Charlie. It's great to be with you. I'm on the Team Trump bus tour in Western Pennsylvania. I'm really looking forward to the turning point event with the boss tomorrow in my hometown of Las Vegas. Look, you're right. They're going to come at us non-stop, especially the president. And just the authors of this one are the same authors of the bogus January 6th insurrection narrative, Russiagate, 51 Intel letter, and everything in between. But this one is personally disgusting because when I was chief of staff at the Department of Defense, and tragically we lost Vanessa Guillen to a murder on a military base, who was serving our country bravely. President Trump, when we informed him of that in the Oval Office, when I mean me and the Secretary of Defense, and of course, then Chairman Mark Milley, President Trump wanted to assure that family that their daughter did not die in vain and that he would give them full military honors, full financial assistance, and the honor that she deserved after serving our country and being tragically murdered. That was his direction in the Oval Office. And he said if the Department of Defense would not pick up the tab because of some government bureaucracy error, he, Donald Trump, would pick up the tab. That's the type of commander-in-chief I've seen in the Oval Office time and time again. And what the Atlantic did was absolutely disgusting. They said President Trump made up vile comments about Mexican Americans and that it shouldn't cost this much or that much to bury a fallen soldier. Of course, it was Mark Milley who's responsible for this leak, just like so many other lies. And the Atlantic went and ran with it. And to further debunk the lie, not that I put aside the fact that I was there in the Oval, Vanessa Guillen's mother and her sister personally responded to the Atlantic article and said President Trump has been nothing but gracious and kind and generous to her family, and that the radical left wing is using this hit piece, which is made up, for political fodder. And her own family was personally disgusted by it and refuted the story entirely, but the Atlantic printed it anyway, just like they did their wonderful hit piece on me. But you're right, Charlie. They're never going to stop. But this one's even low by those standards. They are desecrating the men and women that wear the cloth of our country to defend our nation, and they are desecrating the fallen, just like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden did for the brave 13 warriors who they are responsible for their deaths from the Afghanistan disaster control.
They are not done with these fake stories. I hope you guys understand that we are 13 days out. The window is closing. Let me tell you guys right now, as bluntly as I can, they need to come out with a scintillating story before the Sunday news shows. So in the next couple days, brace for impact, or else it will not have time to get into the news cycle ahead of early voting and going to election cycle. Their window will end this coming Monday. This coming Monday is the end of their window. They're doing everything they can right now, from trying to involve Mark Meadows, from Kash Patel, and this all circulates this guy, Jeffrey Goldberg, the same liar who invented the suckers and losers hoax. And guys, just be prepared, be on guard, because there's more coming here. Tell us about Jeffrey Goldberg, Kash Patel, and he claims all sorts of crap in this story. Kash, what's going on here?
They reached out directly to me, and they don't care about the truth. You're right. This is the same guy that authored the Suckers and Losers hoax, which we now know is a complete farce. And, of course, the only other person in the room that's saying otherwise, and this is what I want to stress, is Mark Milley. Mark Milley, who used to serve President Trump, but when it was politically in for the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to turn on President Trump, he did. And remember, this is the same guy that was calling the CCP head of national security in the Trump administration and talking to him about war plans. This guy is forbidden by statute from entering the chain of command, and he took it upon himself to politicize the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Now, he's the source for this story, and we all know it. Everyone else in the room is speaking the truth. But of course, when you go to Goldberg, after they printed all their hit pieces about anyone in Trump world, he, of course, manufactured this job, and he doubled down, even though he heard from the family themselves and from firsthand witnesses themselves, because like you said, Charlie, very astutely, they just want the narrative out there so they can get the headline out there that, quote unquote, President Trump is, being disgraceful to the fallen, which is, of course, a lie. But you're very astute to point out that we need to counteract that narrative on every social media platform we have. Thank God for Turning Point putting it out there, because that's the only way we defeat it. When I see these brave men and women show up on these bus tour stops out here in Western PA and every other swing state we've been in, they are desperate for the truth, and they know not to read the Atlantic. So I know we're winning the battle, but we got to finish the job through Election Day and make sure Americans vote on the truth and not another fabrication like the 51 Intel letter, which the Atlantic also pushed.